So I'm just wondering, is the Washington Post going to correct the correction of its story? Because they reported on the Witkoff massacre last week, where over 30 Palestinians were killed by the Israeli regime while trying to get aid. First, they reported it accurately. Then Israel yelled at them. So they were like, we're so sorry. And they put out this long ass fucking statement being like, correction, we deleted the post because a version said, ow, Smotrich, stop, okay? I'm changing it, okay? Because earlier versions didn't meet our post fairness standards. I'm so sorry. What do you mean fairness? Is it true or is it not? This isn't kindergarten and you're allegedly a news outlet. What do you mean, our fairness standards? The standard should be, is it accurate? The standard should be, is it true? And they basically go on to say, listen guys, an earlier version of this story was reported accurately, but then the Israeli regime got mad and yelled at us and said like, actually, even though we are caught lying literally every single day, we're disputing what the Palestinians and all the witnesses on the ground are saying. So they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, sir. Well, the IOF said that it wasn't true, so we're just going to take their word for it because they investigated themselves and they found they did nothing wrong. It's not just the Washington Post, of course. All of our Western media outlets are garbage. Look at the way the AP reported it. 31 Palestinians killed heading to Gaza aid site. Witnesses say, but Israel denies responsibility. Oh, okay. I guess in that case closed. You guys, the Israeli regime commits war crimes so often and massacres so frequently that when I went to go look for that article again from the Washington Post to see if there was any update, the first thing I saw was a new massacre from today. You can't even search without finding a new massacre that the regime is committing on the people of Gaza every fucking day. But no, Washington Post has still not corrected this shit, even though it has already been confirmed that it was the IOF that killed all those Palestinians trying to get food. Video expert analysis and witnesses point to Israeli gunfire in Gaza aid site shooting. Are you gonna correct the Washington Post or not? The fact that the Washington Post even changed their headline to appease the IOF in the first place is insane. Like, they would never do that for Putin if Russia's army were like, actually, all those signal videos you keep seeing of slaughtered Ukrainians, yeah, they did that to themselves, actually. Would our media buy that? Would they? Would they accept that narrative from Russia? What always continues to amaze me is that the most accurate reporting actually comes out of Israeli outlets, like Haaretz. Hunger Games. Israel forces Gazans to choose between starvation and risking their lives. If I want to find out what's actually happening with the IOF and the Israeli regime, I often have to go to Israeli outlets because outlets like Haaretz do a lot better reporting on what's actually happening than the Western outlets. And also, a lot of Israelis who are open about their genocidal intent to the Palestinians have no problem going on Israeli outlets and just saying it. It only then gets laundered and lied about and propagandized for the Western audiences. In fact, it was in an Israeli news outlet that I found out that Netanyahu is funding groups in Gaza linked to ISIS to be another addition to fight Hamas. Unfucking believable. Israeli lawmaker Avigdor Lieberman alleged that Netanyahu is now supporting a new militia to counter Hamas. Sources told Haaretz last week that an armed group tied to Yasser Abu Shabab has recently begun operating in southern Gaza. You know where you're not seeing this reported? Western media. Our media is so corrupt and such a joke that will literally just designate anything we don't like terrorism and then take away terrorist designations on things that were previously designated terrorists. Like the guy in Syria who was on the US's terror watch list for like over a decade, now is the head of Syria and Trump is like buddying up to him. And same with this. Now all of a sudden, ISIS, a designated terrorist organization that has been a terrorist organization for years, is now suddenly a Gaza militia. The weaponization of the term terrorism in the West to suit whatever the fuck it is the West wants to do or enable the Israeli regime to do is incredible. You should always keep that in mind whenever you hear them throwing that word around. And you actually hear it a lot because now they like to throw it around on American citizens who are protesting the genocide.